Welcome to Hope Academy. My name is Mr. O, and today I'm going to be going over the CrackSAT Math Level 2 Practice Exam 1, specifically numbers 47 through 50. Feel free to look into the channel for the prior questions. They have been already solved. Usually when I do these problems, I go over them quickly and then explain in depth how I got to the answer so quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So for number 47. Okay, so for number 47, my final answer is going to be C. And now I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get to this answer. So for this question, this is sort of this is sort of like what we call a magnitude, in the sense that it's the distance sort of idea. And when we're dealing with this sort of concept right here, usually this 6 is going to represent the sort of x-intercept in a way, and the negative 3y is going to sort of represent like the y-intercept. And so what happens is that I could imagine as if this is coordinate 6, 3 in a sense. And whenever I think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, I can imagine as if there's a line right here, and I'm trying to find out this distance, the hypotenuse of this triangle basically. So it's like 6, 3, and so what happened was that I sort of knew it was going to be like a Pythagorean theorem concept in a sense, where I did 6 squared plus 3 squared, which equals to whatever c squared. I'm solving for c. Thus, I got 36 plus 9 equals to 45, and I square rooted 45 and ended up with c. And that's how I was able to get to the answer for number 47. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to number 48. Okay. Okay, I'm going to need a calculator for this. Okay. Catalog. MN. Okay. Catalog. 20,5. Okay. So number 48, my final answer is D. And now I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get to this answer so quickly. So 48 is a statistics-based question. It's based on a concept called combinations, and it's even mentioned right here in the question. And so how combinations work is that combination is only applicable when order does not matter. If I don't give any of these the people names, I don't give medals to people, I don't give titles to people, that means that there's no distinguishment, and thus I know right off it's going to be a combination-based question. And sometimes the question will mention combinations, sometimes it will not. So just be careful of that. But the question states that there's these two menus, and that there's a certain amount of items, and they're going to choose 5 from that first one, and then a certain number of numbers, and they're also going to choose 5 from it, and that they're independent from each other. That was the key thing that came out, is the fact that if none of these items are found in both columns, means that they're independent from one another, and thus I need to multiply these two possibilities. And thus how I did it right here. 10C5, because they're choosing from 10 items 5, and 20C5, which is going to be from the 20 items 5, and I multiplied them, and I just punched it into the calculator right here for the TI-89. I just pushed catalog 1 to N, and jumped over to find NCR, and then I calculated, and it gave me 3,907,008. And thus how, for number 48, I got to the answer of D. And that concludes my explanation for number 48. So to continue on to number 49. Okay. 2.5 squared is y equals 80 over x squared. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right there. Okay. 10x squared equals to 8. So square root of 8. Oops. Square root of 8. Going to be okay. So for number 49, my final answer for this question is A, and now I'm going to go ahead and explain to you how I was able to get to this answer. So when we talk about y varies directly as the square of x, usually when I look at this type of question, varies directly, I automatically sort of memorize it as y over whatever value. So if it says x, a varies directly to b, I think of a over b automatically, and that's just sort of practice that helps me get to the answer faster. And so I set it up exactly as it stated. Y varies directly as the square of x. So 2.5 over 0.5 squared, because it's y over x squared, equals to 80 over x squared. And I just sort of cross multiplied and solved for x in the very end. And thus how I was able to get to the answer of A. But that being stated, the important thing for this question is just to be careful about the wording. It's just not only is it important to note that it says varies directly, it's the word square so that you readjust the values accordingly to what the question asks for. And thus, that's the main the thing you just need to make sure you are doing when it comes to varies directly or varies indirectly, and different terminologies do come out, and so make sure to be familiar with those sort of things because usually there is a question on like this on the Math 2C exam. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to the very last question. So okay, so the first two marbles selected are blue. Oh, interesting. So 7 blue, 6 red, but they said 2 are not taken out, so it's 5. So probably at least 2 marble, at least 2. So that means 2 or 3. Okay. Okay. 5 plus 6 is 11. So they're choosing 3. Wait, yeah, I think, yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Okay. So I have to be careful here. 6 choose 2. And times 5 choose 1 plus 6 choose 3 times 5 C0. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Okay, perfect. So I have this set up already. NCR 6, 2 times catalog NCR 5, 1 plus NCR 6, 3 times catalog 5, 0 divided by catalog 11, 3. 19 over 30. Okay, so for number 50, my final answer for this question is D. And so now I'm going to explain to you how to be able to do this question. So for this particular question, this is a statistics-based question once again, based on combinations. It's sort of the number theory idea behind this question. But when you are doing this type of question, the important thing you have to understand is that when questions like this talk about at least 2 and sort of things like that, you need to understand what your goal is in the end. And so when we are dealing with probabilities, I do want to emphasize a few aspects to this. So usually when we're dealing with fractions, it's the possibilities. So it's the possibilities or the choices that we are making, choices over total possibilities, okay? And so when we are dealing with number theorem in this sense, what happens is that I do want all the possibilities of me getting these, like the red marbles that are coming out of this total bag. And be aware that this is in the context of 5 blue and 6 red, okay? And so before I do so, I want to understand my total possibilities that exist. And so based on these 11 marbles, I'm trying to choose 3. That's my end goal. In the end, it's 3 possible, 3 selections I'm making. And that's why on the bottom, I wrote 11C3. Because amongst these total of 11 marbles, I'm choosing 3 of them. So that's my total possibilities. But now I have to go more specific on the top. Because I'm talking about at least 2. So that means either I could get 2 red, 1 blue, or I could get 3 red, 0 blue, okay? And so that's how I wrote it out in the top portion. So to get reds amongst these, there's 6 possibilities, combinations of 2 times, because they're independent, choices. It'll be 5C1, because this portion right here, I'm going to emphasize this right here, is going to be represented right here. This is my possibilities. And then what happens is that for the next part, I add them together, these possibilities. So I did 6C3 times 5C0. And then for this part right here, my 3 red, 0 blue will be represented right here. Okay? And so these values right here is going to be represented right here. And that's how I'll be able to do this. Okay? And so when I punched it into the calculator exactly as it is with the combinations, which I showed in a prior question, just a few problems before, it gave me the answer in the end as 19 over 33, which is why for number 50, my final answer for this question is D. And that concludes my explanation for this Math Level 2 Practice Exam 1. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, or please feel free to leave a comment below if there's any other topics or concepts you do want me to cover. Thank you so much once again. I hope you have a wonderful day.